Welcome along to episode 754 of the Mill Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show, we'll be talking to two Downton stars, Lesley, Nicol and Peter Egan, all about the work of Animal Asia and what they're doing to repatriate a number of brown bears back into a kinder society than the one they've known so far. We'll be hearing from Tom Roberts about his appearance in Treasure Island at the Telford Theatre, their Panto this year. Nick Hewer is along, of course, you know him from Countdown and all the other telly stuff that he's done. He'll be talking about the opportunities to become a magistrate for those who are aged between 18 and 74. Dominic Mills from Yuup and Tony Martin from Celestial let us know about the fantastic event, which is going to be the drone show taking place at Wolverhampton Racecourse on the 14th of December. Niel Curtis is along to let us know about his advent calendar for 2023. We'll be hearing from Millie Mackintosh all about Nicol and also the way in which we can end up in a viral spiral when it comes down to our health in these tricky, horrible, cold winter months, particularly when we haven't got enough vitamin D. And we'll be finding out about a ladies' night, which is going to warm you up very well and very nicely as we head through December. That's all coming up on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Treasure Island is the destination for the Telford Theatre over in Oakengate for their Panto this year, running from the 8th of December through to the 6th of January, a family feast of fun entertainment. I'm joined now by Tom Roberts to tell me quite what he's up to in the show. Hello, sir.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm all right. You okay?
Good. I'm very well, thank you. Yes, I'm good. I'm at home, ready to rock and roll.
There you go. Well, rehearsals get underway, and before you know it, you've got an amazing piece of theatre on stage. And so this is the launch of many kids' visits to the theatre, and long may that continue. And Panto is just a wonderful way of doing it, and Treasure Island is going to be good fun.
Well, I mean, you're right about kids being the first one. My first one was, I remember the Grand Theatre in Wolverhampton, went to see something, but I remember Little and Large were in it, which has showed my age. But it's such a great introduction, isn't it? You know, everybody says it, but it's the first time they go, and why not? It's wonderful. And Treasure Island, yeah, good ripping yarn. I don't know yet if I've got one leg in it or not, which we'll find out tomorrow. I think not. That'll be a good hop if I have. But yeah, good old, nice. Baddies are better in my view.
It's good fun to play the baddie because you get an audience interaction guaranteed all the way through the show, aren't you?
You do. Yeah. And they love to hate you, and hate to love you, and it's wonderful.
Oh, Long John Silver, fantastic role. I know you're going to absolutely shine as that, but you've got some brilliant co-stars as well.
We've got, well, Ian Smith is the Dame character, Captain Smollett, who I did Panto with him 2 years ago at Telford, actually. So he's back again. We've got Carl Dutfield playing Silly Billy, his sidekick. Shelley Ann Rivers playing the mermaid. We have Amel Berabar from Sugar Babes playing the chief. Which would be interesting. And who else have we got? We got
X Factor Sean Smith from X Factor.
Sean Smith. Yeah.
Jim
So
Hawkins.
and obviously a company of dancers and singers, and it's ready to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ensemble, they work really hard in a show like this because they're probably going to have even more costume changes than the Dame, and they get to really carry the production with all the wonderful dancing and the singing that comes out of them.
They do. They add the colour. They're on stage most of the time. I mean, I come on and go off, and I've got I think there's one. I was trying to work it out. I can probably get a cup of tea between a couple of the scenes. So there are a couple of gaps for me, but they work so hard. Yeah. But they've got youth, haven't they?
Well, this is it. You have still just about. I think we can get there.
Yeah.
The elixir is working, but I mean, when it comes to being part of a Panto, you've got to be ready for the unexpected. I mean, yes, there'll be some brilliantly scripted ad libs, but there will be some real ad libs as well, won't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, you learn your lines, obviously, but you do that knowing that it'll be different every night because things happen. Things are thrown at you. You've got to think on your feet. And it will change, and it's like nothing else. I've just done a play, which is a proper serious play where you learnt the lines and said them and didn't say anything else. And with this, you are going to say something else. It's a different beast altogether.
And I mean, you must love doing Panto, and again, in your neck of the woods too, because you're living over in Lichfield, aren't you?
Litchfield, yeah. It's funny because you don't often work where you live. I found this in my career. I'd love to. I have done Panto at the Garrick a few years ago, but not for a while. So you tend to, you often work further away from where you are. But Telford's okay. Telford's only an hour away.
Yeah,
And then you've got the Grand as well, which is not too far. Birmingham, it's great.
Yeah, and what I would say the way the theatre works over there in Telford is really nice as well. There's not an obstructed view in the place, is there?
No. It's more of it's also a music venue as well. So it's an arena feel to it. So it's banked up quite nicely, the seating. So it's good wherever you are. And it's noisy. The crowd make a noise.
As I say, yeah, they're always good audiences over there, aren't they?
Oh my goodness me, they are. Especially the first week when the schools come in. It's a big volume level. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be absolutely massive, and I know you're going to have a fun time with it. I can say break a leg because one of them might not even be real when you come to do it, might it?
Yeah, break the one leg. Yes, that'd be. But maybe not though, because then what do I do then? I'll have to sit down the entire show.
That would be awkward, wouldn't it? So have a brilliant time with the show.
Thank you, Jason.
And I enjoy the rest of the cast. I enjoy the fact that the script's a bit flexible, and I know you will love it as you head through. As we say, it is at the Telford Theatre. That's over at Oaken Gate. It is the 8th of December through to the 6th of January. Their box office is 01952 382 382. That's 01952 382 382. TelfordTheatre.com is the website, and it's going to be another amazing family panto. And I know people will be going to as many pantos as they can, and this is another one. This is going to be well worth getting yourself over there too. Tom Roberts, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
Now, we need to avoid the viral spiral. To tell us more about what this even is, I'm joined by mum and lifestyle advocate Millie Mackintosh. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good here. I hope we find you well, and hope we find you well without this viral spiral.
I'm very well. And yes, luckily I have been avoiding the viral spiral because me and my family have been taking Sambicol to help us through this tricky winter and festive period without falling into the constant cycle of illness, which is what Sambicol have named the viral spiral.
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to this time of year, there's coughs, colds. Now we've got coronavirus, COVID knocking around, in addition to the fact that there'll be all sorts of other nasties which will be lurking around at parties and anywhere else we seem to be. And we loved it a few years ago when everyone was wearing masks. That kept us safe. Without that in the main part this year, we need to make sure our immune system is fully boosted and ready to go for the winter months.
Absolutely. So I think anything we can do that add into our routines to help us be more resilient and to fight off these bugs and be less likely to get taken down by them. And if you do get them, to just recover more faster and not spend much time, having to miss out on all of the fun festivities that are going on at this time of year.
Yeah, we definitely want fun, but there is a concern as well because people are genuinely worried about either passing these things on or picking them up in the first place.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important also to socialize, but still be aware of the things that we learned through that COVID period with the kind of, how easy it is to spread things. And I'm definitely more conscious of it with my kids, and just there's a lot of hand washing that goes on still.
Hand washing, hand gels, and all of those. And again, that's what we can do to physically fight it off. But if we do get caught out because of airborne bits and pieces, again, it is the important thing that our immune systems are working as well as we can. And due to our lack of sunlight, particularly at this time of year, the vitamin D, which is also essential alongside the vitamin C to keep our cells ticking over, can be somewhat hard to come by.
Definitely. I think you have to just look at what we can do to try to boost our immunity, like obviously taking Sambicol, also, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, eating the rainbow, doing spending time in nature, making sure you are getting a good amount of daylight. All of these things can really help as well.
Mm. Yeah, and whilst you can't stop yourself becoming ill completely because of the fact that we will be exposed to these things, however careful we are, again, coronavirus proved that to us, but it is important that we can deal with it as fast as we can. And overall, I mean, we'll feel fatigued if we're not getting the right vitamins and minerals anyway. So as you said, eat the rainbow and make sure we top up the bits and pieces which are harder to come by. Means that we will feel better generally overall.
Absolutely. That's my advice to everyone.
So, obviously, what have you got planned over Christmas apart from the hand washing?
apart from the hand washing, I'm very excited actually because we're going to Lapland, UK, and I'm taking the kids to go and meet. Well, they've met him before, but we're going back to see Father Christmas and to help the elves in their workshop. And it's just a really cute festive day out. So I've got that coming up, and that gets me so excited for Christmas. I'm going to put my tree up at the weekend, and I'm going to be doing things with family and just winding down a little bit, being cozy. Very excited. And then I'm going away with my family because I've hosted the last couple of years actually. So I said this year I'm going to do it a little bit differently.
A bit of you time, just a chance to relax. And this is again what you don't want to become ill over the Christmas period, which is the reason you're making sure that you make the most of being a year off.
100%. About this year, the last couple of years also, the children were very young. I had young babies, and now they're 2 and 3. I want to really enjoy this festive period without having a tiny baby attached to me, and the girls are now at ages where they can really get very excited by Christmas and actually understand a lot more what it's about, and it's bringing the joy to me.
They will still be in everything though, won't they? Whatever you've got knocking around, they will be there, here, there, and everywhere.
It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be beautifully chaotic. I've already accepted that it's going to be chaos, but I'm very excited.
But at least it's a bit different. We're not seeing the home life on TV, though, now. You can chill out and relax a bit more that way, can't you? Whereas in the past, obviously, you've lived your life very much in public. You get a chance to get to chill.
Yeah, there won't be any filming going on. I'm going to have a very cozy, quiet, private Christmas. I'm really looking forward to that family
That does
time.
sound fantastic. Brilliant. Well, you have a great time with that. Meanwhile, where can we go for more information on the whole of this survey so we know we're not alone in worrying about the viral spiral?
So you can get more information over on the Sambacol website, and you can go to Boot stores to pick yours up.
So just look out for Sambacol, and we're spelling the SAMBUCOL, and that way we can enjoy and avoid the fear factor and enjoy Christmas, knowing that we're doing our best we can to keep ourselves healthy, can't we?
Absolutely, it tastes great. My family love it, and I really recommend it.
Oh, absolutely brilliant stuff. Let's make sure we're keeping well this Christmas. Millie Mackintosh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
There are a number of A-listers. Our celebrities are looking after animals. We all love our four-legged friends. When they wave a paw, we want to wave back. Now, there are some concerns surrounding bears, and to tell us more, I'm joined now by 2 stars of Downton. We've got Lesley, Nicol and Peter Egan. Good afternoon to you both.
Hi. Hello.
So first of all, I know, Lesley, there's a very personal story for you here, isn't there? Because one of the bears that you're looking after is named after your late husband.
Yes. Well, just to try and keep this story not too long, Peter and I both, in case people don't know, we're ambassadors for a charity called Animals Asia. They rescue abused bears from bear bile farms in Southeast Asia. And other things. They do many things for animals. We were there last July because they're opening a 3rd sanctuary. There's 2 in Vietnam now, because they're about to bring an end to bear bile farming in Vietnam in conjunction with the Vietnamese government, which is an incredible achievement. So there was a ceremony to celebrate the breaking of the ground to start building this sanctuary. Peter and I were there. So we went to their sanctuary already that's there in Tam Dao in Vietnam. We were in the quarantine area, which is where they bring newly rescued bears. They have to stay there for 45 days. It just means that it keeps everybody else safe till they're sure they're okay. So we were there, and I was looking, they just rescued 7 bears. They're in cages. They're in various stages of distress because they don't quite know what's happening. They're fearful. Some of them, they call them their broken bears. You know, they were in different states of health. But at the end of the 7 cages, there was this big, rather gorgeous looking, handsome, charismatic bear sitting up on his hind legs, playing with a piece of bamboo, seemingly reasonably happy. He was funny. He was kind of quirky. I started singing something to him. He came to the bars. He put his head on one side. We had a real sort of interaction. It was very different from the other 6. And it sort of struck a chord in me that he seemed familiar. This may sound a bit bonkers to people, but it did. And it wasn't just me, because Jill Robinson, who's the wonderful woman who created Animals Asia from scratch and has been doing it for 30 plus years. She knew my husband very well. I'd lost him 2 months earlier, in May last year. And I said to her, am I going mad? Does he remind you of anybody? And she said, 100%. It's Dobbs was my husband's name. So I said, okay, this feels like a special thing. I'd like to adopt this bear. He was called King. He was nicknamed King at that point. So he's now called King Dobbs. And Peter and I have just been over for another important celebration because they've just finished phase 1 of this new sanctuary, so they can pull in all the remaining bears that are left on the farms. And we saw King Dobbs at length having the most glorious time. He's so, settled and happy, and he's turned into a very, very happy, important.
That sounds absolutely wonderful and a lovely story. And no, we don't think you're mad. We think you're having it's you can always see the love of your life somewhere. And with the personality that Dobbs and King Dobbs share, that sounds like a true fitting tribute, which is brilliant. Now, Peter, obviously, you've seen firsthand as well what's going on here, and these bile farms. I mean, what are they doing to the bears in the first place?
Well, I think it's worth mentioning that a bear's lifespan in the wild is usually around 30 years. And they can travel up to 40 miles in a day in the wild. And I always think of bears as a keystone species. They're like the gardeners of the forest, and they eat an extraordinary amount of plant life, and they excrete quite frequently throughout the forest. And of course, that creates a wonderful mound of pleasure for all the bugs and stuff that come from it, that then go to the soil, that refresh the soil and enrich the soil. So they play a very, very powerful part in the health of our planet to begin with. So if you imagine this the amazing creature that can live for 30 years, as I said, being locked in a crush cage where it literally can hardly turn around. And some of them are kept in crush cages for their entire lives. That's 30 years. And they go insane. And they have bile extracted from their gallbladder through an open port every day. And the port remains open. It becomes infected. It's incredibly painful. I think that bile farming is the single biggest, cruelest animal welfare issue on the planet. There's nothing that we do, and we do interfere with every other species on the planet, us humans, but nothing is as bad as bile farming. It is inhumane, it is so cruel, and to imagine a creature that is so humorous and stoical being kept in prison for 30 years in a way that is so anti all of its instincts is appalling. So what is remarkable about Animals Asia, as Lesley has just said to begin with, is that they have finally, after about 25 years, got the Vietnam government to agree to end bile farming in Vietnam from 2026. There are about 300 bears still on bile farms throughout Vietnam. And they've opened this second sanctuary in Bac Ma, which is outside the great city of Hue. And in the next 3 years, that will be developed, and more bears will move into it. And they will. What is it I found amazing on this last trip, that we had the great pleasure, Lesley and I, of being able, and this is under very controlled circumstances, of giving the bears their medicine. They have to have medicine every day. And so we were allowed to feed them their medicine. And they are, of course, behind bars in a cage. And as I was doing that, I was thinking how remarkable it is that bars, which have been a threat to these bears all of their lives, and every time a human came towards them before they arrived at the sanctuary, they would recoil and try and escape because they know that something horrible was about to happen. But in this circumstance, they come and they lean on the bars and they put their mouth between the bars to receive their medicine, and they trust the humans who are dealing with them. And I just found that an extraordinary journey and arc for these most humorous and stoical creatures. They are remarkable. I absolutely adore moon bears.
It does make you think, doesn't it, Peter, that if we'd been treated in that way,
yes,
would we be able to trust
no,
people?
absolutely not.
Don't think so. You'd be so scarred but they teach us. I mean, not being sort of soppy about it, but they do. They with their claws by the bars. They could easily take a swipe, but they don't. They don't, because by now they know something different is happening and they're okay. It's astonishing. Can I just say one other thing, one tiny thing that always, because you just said, Peter, just to put it in context, when you say they can be locked in these cross cages for 20 more, sometimes Oliver, the wonderful big bear, was in for 30 years. If you're old enough, just for a second, think back 20 years. Just think, what were you doing 20 years ago? Just think, how long ago was that? And that bear has had nothing going on except pain, nothing to do, nothing to think about for 20 years, day in, day out.
It's a life sentence, yes, it's appalling. I mean, it's worth mentioning that all of this interaction with the bears is under very controlled circumstances, because it is not encouraged. What is encouraged, this is only during a period where they are being given their medicine that kind of contact happens. Yeah. When they're in the enclosures, the space is theirs, and the enclosures are beautifully designed to replicate as much as possible a life in the wild. And they have climbing frames every day. Food is hidden around the enclosure, so they're encouraged to forage.
But they can't get back to being wild bears so easily, because they've been in that environment. And the bile farming that's happening here is for traditional medicine in the region, and obviously there are alternatives to that now. And whilst yes, you see the traditions of these people, when it's causing suffering to these animals, it obviously has something we have to move on as a population and make a change to. Clearly, that is happening through the work that's being done here and the support of compassionate celebrities like yourselves. This is obviously making a huge difference. So thank you for what you're doing out there. Where do we go to find out more and be able to contribute, should we feel able to?
Well, you can Google animalsasia.org. You can find wonderful films on YouTube. You can follow them on X, what was Twitter, Facebook. Anyone can just Google animalsasia.org, and all the information is there. And as Lesley said earlier, not in this interview, but in another interview, don't expect to see shocking material. You'll see the most wonderfully stimulating, imaginative material. You'll even see baby moon bears having foam baths, which every child I've shown it to adores. They are so...
And actually, one of the most exciting things you can do is live, you can watch a rescue. Absolutely. So this is happening a lot in Vietnam now. They go sometimes hundreds of miles because they've heard there's a bear stuck there on their own, and you watch it live. It's gripping television, and you'll see that on X and on, as you say, on YouTube.
You said earlier, also it is worth mentioning that bear bile, which does have remedial use, is much better made synthetically and is much more effective. And doesn't carry all the infections that come with it when it comes from the open port in a poor bear.
Yeah, so it is about doing this the right way and making sure we're protecting those creatures and allowing them to have their wildlife, even if it is through rewilding this sanctuary. It sounds like brilliant work that's been done here by the charity. Keep up the good work. Keep up supporting animalasia.org. And for now, Lesley, Nicol and Peter Egan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
There's a new drive to encourage business owners to allow employees to register as magistrates. To tell us more, I'm joined now by company director and also TV presenter, Nick Hewer. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
So tell us a bit about this campaign then, because becoming a magistrate sounds like an intriguing addition to somebody's CV.
It is. It's interesting. There are lots of magistrates out there, but we always need more because others retire at 75. So there's always a need for more. But there's some research, a rethink about magistrates. Who do we want to apply to become magistrates? And a couple of really extraordinary things have emerged from this research. First of all, there's a lack of awareness among employers that having an employee as a magistrate benefits the employer. And you say, well, how's that possible then? It's very simple, because an employee goes off to be trained as a magistrate over the weekends, 2 or 3 weekends, whatever it is, And then they sit on the bench and they accumulate tremendous skills that they can then carry back into their day-to-day job. Skills such as critical analysis, such as mediation skills, such as decision making, such as problem solving. Now, it does a number of things. It helps the employer because the employee is better at his job or has got more skills. It helps the employee because self-confidence and self-esteem builds, and also it helps the community. But over and above the fact that employers benefit, community benefits, and the employee benefits, we need to broaden the sort of base of magistrates. We need to make sure that just regular people who today say, oh, it's too difficult, I wouldn't be good enough, I don't have a degree, I'm not sure about this, it's not for the likes of me. We've got to stop that. We've got to stop that. We just want decent, regular, working people who are fair, compassionate, open-minded to apply. And all you've got to do, frankly, is to get onto the website, which is icanbeamagistrate.co.uk. What could be simpler than that? To discover what's involved. Basically, it's 13 days a year in full days or half days, whichever way you want to do it. You work that out with your employer. The employer, generally speaking, who wants to make a commitment to the local community will keep your pay. Some won't, but most would, I would imagine. And suddenly we've got people of much broader base who get what's going on in the town, at sort of grassroots level. You with me? Because in the past, of course, magistrates were always drawn from the professional classes, perhaps a little bit more distant from, the average working man.
So His Majesty's Courts and Tribunal Service are currently looking for around 2,000 magistrates across the UK.
That's right.
And that sort of number is quite huge. So it's what sort of cases would a magistrate try? Because they're not a judge, are they? It is a local level court.
Well, in a sense, of course, they do take a judge. The criminal magistrates court, most criminal cases kick off in the magistrates court. So, for instance, somebody who appeals against a driving conviction will be tried at the magistrates court, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But also shoplifting or more physical crimes start off in the magistrates court. It's the basis, really. It's the lower court, and more serious cases are certainly heard there and then bounced up to a higher court where a jury, for instance, would be required.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically, this is the reason why we're looking for this number, is because it is limited to 13 sitting sessions each year, and that way it keeps a good broad cross section of people from our communities actually giving back to the community by helping in the court service here. But also it's about having peers. You should be your case should be looked at by somebody who is also from your community.
Absolutely right. And because of that, from your community, they understand the pressures that your community is under, that the people appearing in the bench, before the bench, are subject to. My brother was a magistrate for many, many years, employing lots of young people. He had a landscape gardening business. He was the perfect magistrate because he understood what was going on at that sort of, age group and that wage earning level. He understood it. Another friend of mine has a sister. She's a manager in an NHS trust in Portsmouth. She's only 31, 32. Excellent, because the NHS trust likes people to volunteer to be magistrates because they learn skills that they bring into their job at that NHS trust. They can then, when they're recruiting more people for that NHS trust, they can say, look, we understand what the community needs and we encourage people to volunteer as magistrates. There are all sorts of benefits for the employer, for the community, and also for the employee who wants to become a magistrate. So and we want to broaden the sort of base, both from working people from backgrounds and from ethnic backgrounds too, of course. It's got to be representative of the national community.
Yeah, we want to see a true cross section of the communities, and also see that this is going to help people. It will look good on your CV as well. And if you're going to a new employer, they're going to see the skill set that you bring there, and it's about
Absolutely.
communication skills as well, and the importance of those in this digital world is even more important.
Absolutely spot on. No, I think it's going to work very, very well, this campaign. I think it's well founded on the research, and it just makes sense for the three parties: the community, the employer, and the employee.
So something to look out for and consider. And if you have got, often we end up with an annual assessment. I'm sure you've done many of those in your time with your employees. And where do you want to go as a person? And this would be a great one to suggest to people within your business too.
Absolutely right. And learn all about it on that website. I Can Be a Magistrate. That really sort of spells out, because we're not looking for high flying blokes or girls with PhDs in philosophy or anything. We just want regular people, well-balanced citizens, fair-minded, compassionate, open-minded people to sit in judgment on their peers.
So, yeah, I mean, if you have got a PhD, you're still more than welcome to join, but it is absolutely no way essential. There are no qualifications listed for this, apart from being a compassionate human as part of the community. And I say everyone from across the community is welcome once they've turned 18.
You got it. Spot on.
Well, Nicol, thank you for joining. It's good to speak to you. And we look forward to seeing how this campaign goes.
Indeed. Many thanks for your time. Thank you.
With the amazing night planned for the 14th of December at Wolverhampton Racecourse, when Celestial and Yuup will be bringing the skies to life with the story of evolution, it's something that loads of people are just absolutely desperate to see. Somebody who has seen it already, because he's the CEO and founder of Yuup, is Dominic Mills. Hello, sir.
Hello.
So obviously great times ahead, and the start really of a new type of entertainment.
Absolutely. We're very, very excited about this show. As a company, our job is to introduce people to spectacular experiences, and this is going to set a new bar, I think.
Absolutely. Now, we've seen some of your work, but people have only had a little flavour of it. There's been all sorts of events that you've been involved with the team at Celestial. So what's happened so far?
So the event that you're about to see preview tonight is a spectacular 60-minute drone show, and with a build-up before that of lights and music. And the show tells the story of evolution. So it's a narrated story with a cinematic soundtrack, and it tells the story of the Big Bang, and might see some dinosaurs in it. It's going to be a spectacular show.
And this is part of it. There is something there for all the family. And it is the sort of show that, I mean, historically, we've seen fireworks shows, and obviously you've worked alongside those, and Celestial have worked alongside those. But when it comes to telling the story of creation, it's obviously a bigger thing here. This is obviously huge when it comes down to the type of entertainment we're seeing, but it's only recently become technologically possible to even do this.
Absolutely. And of course there's an environmental angle as well, which is what we can see behind us is a far more environmentally friendly way of putting on a show, which is something we all should be thinking about. Mm-hmm. And so I think audiences will see a mix of science and art, and obviously amazing technology, as you said, come together in the show.
Yeah, a sustainable way of seeing lights in the sky. And when they are up there as well, I think the magic of it is, if you think about what's happening, you've got little dots of light all creating these amazing pictures, and it's how that can tell a story. I mean, we're on the verge of something here that when people first saw television invented, I mean, this is the sort of life-changing stuff, but in entertainment form for the masses.
Absolutely. I really see this as the kind of future of entertainment. You can imagine this concept and the technology being used across a whole range of different shows, and that makes it really exciting. And also, of course, the fact that most people who see this show won't have seen a drone light show in person. They might have seen it on the TV or on YouTube, mm-hmm. But it's quite another thing when you see it live and when you see it with an audience of tens of thousands.
Yeah, and I think it's that shared experience again as well, that you don't get that anywhere else when it comes to a show like this.
Absolutely, and we hope that people will come along to this show with family and friends, and it will create real memories for them. Whether they'll talk about it for years to come. Do you remember the time we saw our first drone light show?
Mm-hmm. And what else do Yuup do? What else should we know you for?
So we work with nearly 500 different experience hosts, and they range from individuals who are putting on smaller scale experiences. It could be foraging or beer making or candle making, all sorts of different things, right the way through to much larger events like the one we're partnering with Celestial on for tens of thousands of people. And the thing that they all have in common is that those hosts are incredibly passionate about what they do, and they're sharing their passion with others. And that's the thing that makes it so exciting, that people can discover all these new experiences in their community across the West Midlands, and go out there and discover new things to do.
Well, you can see more of what Yuup are up to at yuup.co, yuup.co. Wolverhampton-racecourse.co.uk is how you get your tickets too, if you want to see what's going on with the drone show. But search all of that, find out what's going online, and really look forward to what's going to be a massive event for the city of Wolverhampton on the 14th of December.
Absolutely. We're very excited and looking forward to being there on the 14th of December.
Well, Dominic Mills, CEO and co-founder of Yuup, thank you for having a natter with us.
Thank you.
I'm with Tony Martin, co-founder and CEO of Celestial, the team behind the amazing drones which are going to be taking to the air across the city of Wolverhampton on the 14th of December, bringing light to tell a story. And you must be so proud to be part of this, and it's such an amazing experience for those who come to see.
Yeah, it's been a real journey for us. I mean, beforehand, we've done lots of amazing shows around the world for other clients. This is the first time we've created a show specifically for an audience and specifically for this time of year. So I think it's going to be really good fun. It's going to be certainly going to be something that no one's seen before. And the way we put it together with a beautiful soundtrack, some stunning visuals, telling the story of evolution from the Big Bang all the way through to the dawn of man.
Yeah, because we've started to see light shows appearing, and light trails in particular, over the last few years. But this takes it one step further, doesn't it?
It really does. I think the fact that this is moving, the fact that we can tell a story, and the fact also that we're getting people to look up. You know, we as a species, we're so used to looking down at our phones now that it's really nice to look back up, re-engage with the stars, with the sky above, and actually have that shared sense of wonder of everyone experiencing this amazing thing all at the same time.
Yeah, and so we're looking at evolution, and the lights sort of evolve as you go through. I mean, you do see that evolution, the way things change as the drones take on new shapes.
You do. You see, actually we start with a single drone and we end with a single drone, and evolution is portrayed in between those two single drone points. So everything from early cells and how they separate through to amphibians, through to dinosaurs, and through to primitive man.
But education and entertainment and an amazing night.
I think so, yeah. We try to tick both boxes. You know, we love it when families arrive, and especially the little kids are looking up and going, what is it, oh my goodness, it's a dinosaur, you know, that kind of feeling. And also we like to sort of touch the parents with a little bit more emotion than that. So oftentimes with all of our shows, the parents are getting a different, deeper sense of what's going on, and the entertainment affects them in a different way, but kids are always like, oh wow, that's amazing.
And the drone themselves, I mean, they are amazing bits of kit. I've had just to see one on the way in, and they're actually a large number on a field behind us even as we speak. And with the preview, I'm very much looking forward to seeing. Obviously, this is something which is new and different. I mean, people play with drones at home, but this is the same as having, I don't know, a domestic microwave up to the one that caters for thousands in a restaurant.
That's partially true, but in and of themselves, the drones themselves are pretty basic. They are flying light bulbs, and each of one of these hundreds of drones that we're putting into the sky tonight does not know where the other drones are, but they are told where specifically to go, and they can fly with very high levels of accuracy. So each one of the drones can position itself to plus or minus 10 centimeters in three-dimensional space. It knows where it is. And we go through an awful lot of safety checks prior when we're creating the animations to make sure that they do avoid one another, and all of those safety measures are well and truly in place.
So it's all in the maths behind it which makes a difference.
It's all in the maths behind it, and regardless of how many hundreds of drones there are in the sky tonight, worth bearing in mind there are only 2 pilots controlling them.
That is impressive.
It is pretty amazing. So there's a primary system and there's a secondary system. They're both fully redundant, meaning that if one goes down, the other one can take over. They work on completely different frequencies to communicate with the aircraft. It's an extra level of safety that we've got that kind of ensures that whatever we do works perfectly. Additional to that, we've got an invisible fence, or 2 invisible fences around the whole display called geofences. And if the drones touch any of those geofences, it triggers a certain type of behaviour, again, for safety. And we've never had an instance where any of our drones have touched those geofences, but they cannot penetrate them. They cannot go through those invisible force fields around the display.
Yeah, I mean, that protects them against like, unexpected gust of wind, that sort of thing. You know that you're covered.
Yeah, I mean, just like fireworks, you know, like there are wind limits, but we're certainly, I mean, going to be within the wind limits. There's no doubt about that. So it's very unusual for that to happen, but it just caters for anything, whether it's electrical interference, other frequencies that are being used locally, whatever it is, those geofences protect us and everybody else.
So when a minicab goes down the road, we know we're safe and sound.
Exactly, yeah.
That works.
So all the drones follow the minicab to the destination.
No, that does not happen. No, that does not happen. You will get your light show. There will be no interruptions. But again, this is something which is wholly new. And again, it must be great being at the forefront of something like this.
It's incredibly exciting. I've run a few technology companies in the past. I've got a background in the creative sector. I used to be in the music industry. My co-founder John, he used to be in the film industry. For us, this is the sweet spot. This is where technology meets creativity, and it couldn't be more cutting edge. And that's what's really exciting. We're doing things that people have not done before.
And you can't get more widescreen than painting an entire sky with light.
The sky is the biggest screen any of us can ever hope for.
Well, it is absolutely amazing. It will be awesome. Wolverhampton Racecourse is going to be the venue. Yuup.co is where you can get your tickets. Also, wolverhampton-racecourse.co.uk to check out the details there. It is Thursday, the 14th of December. It will be truly awesome. A sight not to be missed. Get yourself down there, grab your tickets and have a brilliant time. Tony Martin, co-founder and CEO of Celestial, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Just as it gets really chilly towards Christmas, there are some boys who are going to help warm you up. Anthony Hall is here to tell me what he's got going on with the Christmas Ladies' Night with his very talented young men. Hello, gang.
Hi, how you doing? Hey, mate.
Right, so first of all, Ant, tell us a bit about what is happening here.
Okay, so we've got the Ultimate Ladies' Night presenting the Christmas Ladies' Night on the 23rd of December. A lot of people ask us, why is it Ultimate? Why is it the number one UK's largest ladies' night? Is because, you know, we are different. We're bringing summer back to date with a lot of glitz and glamour. I've got this vision of bringing a bit of, like, you know, the feathers, the spangles, proper showbiz, a bit of cabaret, a bit of circus, all involved in this ladies' night.
That sounds absolutely amazing. I mean, let's go around the rest of the gang. I mean, Conrad, we know that you're bringing some amazing moves to this show.
Apparently so. He's chosen us wisely. And when I saw the people who were on there, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is going to be an ultimate ladies' night. Yeah, I've been in this game for quite a bit, and I don't mind saying that. Yeah, this one's got me pretty excited.
Yeah, still drawing in the punters. That's what counts. David,
yeah.
David, you've taken a bit of a break and come back to this as well, haven't you, sir?
They got desperate, so the standards slacked, so I joined back in to step it up. No, I had 6 years out, so I sort of come back this year, but yeah, back doing what I love, really.
And
Why are you getting back to the guy like a road, man?
Zach, obviously we've got to talk to you next, mate. So what's going on with your game in this one? What are you bringing to the show on the night?
Lateness.
That's usual.
No, I just wing it. So I'll just wing it. How I feel on the night. That's what you're going to get.
I think what you mean is you play to your audience, you see what's going on, and then you take the crowd by storm.
Yeah, I'll just wing it, like I said. Yeah, just going to get what I'm going to get.
Same
This
difference.
is how it goes.
I don't know. So again, Ant, obviously raising funds for an exceptionally good cause with all of this. So give us the details on that one.
We are indeed. So we will be raising funds for West Park Stroke Cycling Group, who work very closely with stroke survivors around the West Midlands. Not only do they do the cycling, but they also do like garden activities, day trips, giving them that bit of normality back into their lives. It's something that's very close to my heart, as you know, because of my dad having a stroke back in 2019. So I feel it's right that we give something back for, the support they've given to my dad.
Yeah.
We've got a great team. We're looking forward to working together on this show. And onwards and upwards to even bigger events around the UK.
Well, we know that you've got plans for 2024. We will no doubt talk about those. And it's all homegrown in Wolverhampton and heading out across the UK, which is absolutely amazing. So, I mean, normally if we're talking to the cast of a show, we ask them what their favourite track is in the show. I mean, when it comes to you boys here, I'm not sure what we can ask you. I mean, comrade, favourite moves, favourite track, favourite reaction.
Hallelujah. What, mine?
Yeah. What do you love about it?
Mine, Sex Machine. That's it. James Brown. Period. Game
and,
over.
And before you know it, you're driving them wild.
Pregnant women.
No, mine's Conrad when he does 1, 2, 3.
What's it? The Land of 1,000 Dances. That one.
Yes.
I love that one.
Brother.
Yeah, that's my favourite. That is one of my favourites.
Another thing that makes us all like, I'd say not different, but we're all the same. We all live quite local. We're all local lads to the Midlands, but I think a lot of Conrad especially has been around a lot longer than us. But like we're just he's been a legend in the business for years, and I think just getting someone like him on board for us, it's going to be massive for our show to keep the lads who haven't done audience sizes like this before. It's going to keep them all like a bit of a calming influence in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So. And we've all, me and Ryder, me and Dave, we work together most weekends. Me and Conrad have worked together a load of times. The other lads, PJ, all the other lads that we've got Tyson on. We all know each other really well. So we all know as well what our limits and strengths are and what our weaknesses are. And I think we kind of like iron out each other's weaknesses and strengths. So that's what I think. And, it's going to be good. I'm really excited.
Now, I know your audience is going to love it. I know the reaction to when you guys have worked on similar events in the past have been absolutely awesome. I think this Mr. Hall's involvement as well, bringing all that together with the fire eating and the magic of the circus. It's about having the passion to go out there, give everyone a good night, be part of the entertainment, and have a great time. And I've got to ask David something else because he just sat there saying nothing pretty much. So, I mean, is there a costume, an outfit that defines you when it comes to your work?
To be fair, it changes because I think costumes you do get used to them so much you have to freshen it up. But at the moment I'm doing American Cop, but I've done various firemen, army, so it all depends. I think most of the lads all have the same issue where they get used to a certain image for so long that they want to freshen it up, so they just keep changing it up really. But to be fair, anything along the hip hop route really. So regardless what costume I come down, it always ends up with a snapback on and got nothing on. So it doesn't really matter what I wear to start with; it ends the same.
And it's always appreciated by the gathered throng. That's the way we like it. Okay, Ant, give us all the details on where we're going to, what it costs, and who's invited.
So I just want to say something as well. Like as the guys are here, it hasn't been an easy selection. We've gone around and we've watched various guys doing what they do best, and I only wanted the best of the best for this show. And as you know, in my background, working in Panto and working in circus, I know how to put a show on, I know how to work a show, but it's about finding the best of the best to give us the ultimate ladies' night. But it all kicks off on the 23rd of December. Doors open at 7 o'clock, show starts at 8 o'clock prompt. Tickets are available from Ticket Source, from the venue, which is ECC Sports and Social Club in Shoal Road, Wolverhampton. We are on Facebook. Just simply search the Ultimate Ladies Night and you can get the tickets through the Facebook page as well.
So get yourself down there, get yourself ready for Christmas in the naughtiest way possible, including, according to this poster, some elves in the buff. I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Well, we've got a lot of surprises there, obviously, because obviously it's Christmas. We have got the naughty Santa. We have got the elves in the buff.
And more tinsel than you know what to do with. Let's just leave that there. Yeah, it's where you're putting the fairy lights at worries me. Thank you, gang. Have a brilliant time, and we look forward to you entertaining the masses on the 23rd of December.
Thank you. Are you going to come and join us, Jason?
I'm washing my hair that night, but otherwise I'd be there.
Right.
And big up WCRFM.
Big up. Can you get that DID?
Yes, you can. Now, it's that time of year when Niel Curtis is always up to something, whether it be an advent calendar or work which you can enjoy giving as gifts to your friends and family for Christmas. He is here to tell me more about what's going on, although he is hiding behind Santa's beard, it seems. What are you up to?
Yeah, hello. I grew a beard. Can you see it? No, I wanted to get into Christmas mode. I
Right.
wanted to get into Advent modus.
But
Can you
I'm
get
living the
why?
hat, living the hat, living the beard. Why are you in that mood?
Because it's Christmas time, and I wanted to get into Christmas time mode because, as always, as each year, I make a Christmas Advent calendar, and it's a very cool session this time. Oh, and by the way, I will take it off.
We
It's so
can hear you
hot.
better that way. We've got the real
Yes.
beard now.
Now I've got a real beard. Yes.
So, what's involved in this this advent calendar this year then?
Yes, this year's Advent calendar is going to be a very cool session. It's going to be very black and white, but it's also a very messy session. And it's a very special session for me because this model is a very good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm. And what can we expect? I mean, we're used to your replacing clothes with paint. Is that the starting point?
Yes, it's actually a session from a project called White Shell.
Mm-hmm.
And in the White Shell project, I paint someone with white paint, and then I let it dry, and then I peel it off. And unlike in the Replace Clothes with Paint project, I don't want to have a distance. I want to have more like a very close approach to the whole thing. And yeah, the session is very intimate, I would say, but of course not in a sexual way, in a non-sexual way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the close as you can be with someone who is a friend as well as a colleague in this case. And this is just the tip of the iceberg with your current work. The Advent calendar draws people into the rest of what you have going on.
Yes, the idea of the Advent calendar is to bring attention to the topic, bring attention to my work. And by the way, I've always promised the people to give them a supporters book when they make a donation.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? It's here.
Wow.
Yes. So starting from now, everyone who donates to the project, who becomes a supporter, will really get the first 10 sessions as a supporter book.
Okay, so you can see how it's done and the way in which the project comes together. I mean, as you say, this isn't a sexual thing. It looks at the human form in a very different way. I mean, we're used to paintings throughout the years, often depicting men and women in physiques as a way of showing off the human anatomy. You take that to a different place and look at hiding it with paint, yet using that to expose what it is to be human.
Yes, I mean, we are all born naked. And for me, especially, I do body painting since a long time now. And I didn't want to make these compromises of hiding genitals or whatever. We were born naked, and especially in art. There's so many people who make art, and the art is showing the body as it is. And I also want to work like that because I think that's the most logical way. And also, especially now in these times, when you look around, the people are so serious, and everything is. I feel like everything is going like in a difficult way. And I think we should be more open. We should be more relaxed. We should be more enjoying life and not destroying it.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you've often made a political statement through your artworks, and it's an approach which you've done live as well. And when this happens, and you see this work taking place in front of you, it must be amazing for the spectators. And then to be able to relive that through the videography that you produce, which is the main medium for distributing this, because you can't hang one of these pieces on the wall unless it's been recorded.
Yeah, that is one of the problems I actually have, because every artist would just draw a picture and then he would sell the picture, and he could maybe earn some money with that, you know. But I cannot sell a painted body. It's a bit difficult, and I'm relying on support. You know, I'm relying on response, and I will also, like, this book made me actually very curious about what I could do more. And starting from now on, if someone redonates, if someone makes a second donation, I'm actually sending out a new, I call it like magazine or collector's item or whatever, which is called Redonate, and it's like an exhibition catalog, you know, and this catalog also shows 2 sessions of my work, and it's actually, for me, it's very, very cool, because I'm usually working with video, and video is a very nice medium, but I've always dreamed of doing a book, and making a book is very difficult, because you need a publisher, you need distribution, you need a printing company, you need to invest lots of money. But we're now in time of internet, of digital media, and I thought, why don't I make something in this area? And I don't want to use like Twitter or Instagram or all these media, where your media is just like, it's like you throw it in the air and it gets it disappears. You know, this is social media. And this project called Redonate is a project where I show 2 sessions, and I can show them in a way that I could never done before. And it's almost like a book, especially when you use an iPad or any device. Yeah, it's another way of my art to show people my work. And for me, it's very important that people respond to my art, and that they see my art and also discuss my art. You know, I also, for example, this year I made a few experiments where I pushed my models quite far. So, for example, we were in Berlin, and we walked around, like my model was completely naked, and we made photographs. And it was a very interesting experience to see how people reacted to my painted nude model. And guess what? What do you think? How did the people react?
I'd say positively.
Yeah. So people, of course, some part ignored us or just let us do whatever we want. Other people came to us and they say, it's great, and wow, why, how do you have the courage to do that, you know? And no one responded in a negative way, and that was a big surprise for me.
But certainly one to do in the summer months in Berlin, and not the winter months.
No, actually, we made something similar in Vienna a few years ago in winter. I had a model over here, which was an ice diver. And I said to him, what if you're an ice diver? What if I paint you and you make ice diving in Vienna? And he did. And it was also very interesting.
Well, there's obviously a lot of your work there, and in photographic form as well. I know prints are available of some of your work. Also, I mean, are we looking at non-fungible tokens, NFTs, becoming a thing for you in the future?
Well, Jason, you know what happened in this area, didn't you? Don't you?
It doesn't always work very well.
We all thought, well, NFTs, we are jealous that some people have put lots of NFTs out, and now many of them are not worth anything. So maybe this is the future.
Yeah, we shall see.
NFTs on the iPad.
So let's see what happens. So where do people find all of your work, and of course, how do they donate or redonate to get involved in the almost physical appearance of this work?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say that all of my work is also able to be seen without paying or without donation. It's just that the supporters get to see a longer version or a full version of a video. So some of the videos are like teasers. They can be found on my website, nielcurtis.com. And this is also where I show more information about what's going on. Like I release new videos there. There will also be links to the advent calendar. And on the website, on my website, you can also find links to my Instagram and my Twitter/X account. And yeah, I'm very happy if you just have a look, and if you like it and support my work, even better. I'm very happy about that.
Depending on how broad-minded your workplace is, this is probably not safe for work. But that's due to the policies in place and not the attitudes towards the art. I am absolutely sure.
Only if you click on a link.
Yes, but you can do it on your phone, personal phone, not a problem. But it's going to be worth checking out.
Or
Niel,
you just...
it's just Charlie, no one will spot it. But Niel, always good to speak to you. Keep up the good work, keep up the great artwork, and we look forward to seeing what 2024 brings.
Yes, thank you very much, and happy Christmas.
That's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 755 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.